Hello friends, and welcome back to my kitchen today. In today's video, I have 4 different meals that I've made in the last little while for our family that they've all enjoyed. They come together pretty quickly, and so I hope watching these will inspire you to cook up something good for your family in your kitchens. All right, so tonight for supper, I am cooking some maple glazed trout. I'll be baking this in the oven. The glaze is very easy. It's maple syrup with a bit of Dijon mustard and a bit of soy sauce. And then I will also be toasting some almonds to just sprinkle on the top when it's time to serve. Alongside that, I will be making some veggies and pasta. So I have onion, bell pepper, and mushrooms that I'll saute in some olive oil, toss it with the pasta, and grate some fresh Parmesan cheese on top. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is toast my almonds. I have my oven preheated at 350 degrees. And so I'll just spread them in a thin layer on my pan. And because these are sliced, I'll check on them like after 3 minutes and see if they're done, or 4 minutes. Usually when I do whole almonds, I do 5 to 6 minutes. So I'll pop these in the oven. You could also toast them on top of the stove in a little bit of butter, but I'll just throw it in the oven. I have my oven heating for my fish anyway. So next I'm going to prep my veggies. I washed my red peppers. The mushrooms I bought are already sliced and ready to use. So here are my toasted almonds, so I'll let those cool off. So now I'll prepare the trout. So I just brought the foil in to hold the glaze in around it. Because it's going to have the glaze on it to keep it moist, I won't covering it. So I'm going to measure a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. I think I'll just mix it up in here. Why dirty a bowl? I'm just gonna let the can drain because it's empty. Then like a couple teaspoons of mustard, couple teaspoons of soya, and we'll put the glaze on. So I have my olive oil heating up for my veggies. So here they are. It looks like I have more mushrooms, but they always cook down a lot. Also going to add some crushed chili to add a little bit of kick. And I'm fresh out of garlic, so I'll have to use garlic powder to give it a little bit of a garlicky flavor. You could also put garlic on the trout as well, and that would be good in the glaze. I've got a pot here. I'm going to put my rotini in. So my veggies are done. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper. Then I'll drain my pasta. So always make sure you test for salt and pepper before serving. So I had a little taste and it wasn't too salty, so I'll add a little bit more. And now for the freshly grated Parmesan. So I didn't measure out how much Parmesan I grated on. I just kept grating and stirring it in and until it had a nice flavor. And so unfortunately I forgot to take a little clip of the full meal when it was ready, but this is the pasta dish and that is all ready to go on the side, and then the trout is almost ready. So I took the trout out of the oven. I'm just going to check if it's ready. And you want to see if it's going to flake. Yeah, I think maybe I could do a couple more minutes. It was in for 15, I'd set my timer for. Yeah, it doesn't flake super easily. So maybe I'll stick it in for like 3-4 more minutes. So today I am making homemade pizza, and the pizza crust that I make, I just use the recipe that's on the back of the pizza yeast packet, and it's super easy and it always comes out nice and soft, and you don't have to let time for it to rise. You can use it right away once you mix it up. And so I'll be needing the yeast, some warm water, a little bit of sugar, some flour, also salt and olive oil. So that'll be for the dough. And then for my sauce, I don't have pizza sauce, but I often just use tomato paste, and I'll put a little bit of water in it to make it a little bit more liquidy. And I'll also put some garlic in that. This one already has some Italian herbs in it. But if it's summertime, I put in fresh herbs from the garden, or I can add a little bit of Italian seasoning from the pantry as well. And then I have our typical toppings that we use for pizza. Yes, we like pineapple on pizza. I know that's a controversial topic, but everybody at our house likes pineapple on it. I also have pepperoni, green pepper, mushrooms, onion, some jalapeno peppers, and mozzarella cheese. And we're missing one topping that I usually put, which is black olives, because we all love black olives here. Oh yeah, I only have rectangular pans. I don't think there's a rule that you have to have round pizza pans. How are they gonna know it's homemade if it's round? So I'm just gonna prep my veggies for the topping first. I'll get everything chopped up. And then we'll make the sauce and the dough. Have you guys seen that internet hack? You put your pineapple peel in here, the core, and I have a cinnamon stick, and you let it simmer on the stove and then strain it and then drink it. You can put a bit of honey in if you want. Anyhow, I'm going to try it. I can link it below. Okay, so I'm going to make the pizza sauce. I'll just open my tomato paste. I just add water until I have a nice consistency that I want for the sauce. So, okay, so we have that. I already grated some of the cheese. If we need more, I still have more. So now we'll get started on the dough. So I'm going to be using 2 packets of the yeast. So I'm going to double the recipe that they say. So I started by adding 2 cups of flour to my mixing bowl. And then I added the 2 envelopes of yeast. And I got my sugar and my salt and gave that a little mix. And then I prepared my olive oil. I needed 6 tablespoons of olive oil and then 1 1/3 cups of very warm water. Just make sure your water's not too hot, that it would kill your yeast. And so I whisked that together and then put in the remaining flour to bring it to the minimum, because they give a range to put the flour in. So always start with the minimum. So here's what the dough looks like. So just make sure when you make it, put in the minimum of flour that they say at first, and then add accordingly, because I only needed the minimum amount of flour. So it depends on your area and the humidity and all of that. So I'm making the 2, so I'm gonna split this. I'll just eyeball it, because most of the time I don't spread it right to the edge of the pan anyway. So I'm going to put a bit of olive oil. And so to save a little bit more time, you could always buy your crust ready-made, or sometimes what we do is we just make it on Indian naan bread, and that's very good as well. So I know we're always trying to save a little bit of time in our busy evenings. So now's the fun part. Start with the sauce. So there are the 2 done. So I'm going to put these in a 425-degree oven for 12 to 15 minutes. Oh, yummy, 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 oh yeah. Tonight I'm making hamburgers. It's beautiful outside. We're plus 17 degrees Celsius today. I think it's the nicest day so far this spring. And so I'm going to barbecue hamburgers. I've got my hamburger beef here, locally grown, grass-fed. Got the buns. I just keep my seasoning simple. I'll have salt and pepper and a bit of garlic powder. And I'll also finely chop up an onion to mix in with my ground beef. We're going to slice up tomatoes. I'm going to slice some pickles. I'm going to shred some cheese. And I also have jalapenos here for those who like hot pepper, although these are from my garden last year. And some of them aren't that spicy. And then, well, fries on the side because it's easy for tonight and it'll be fun. So I just put my ground beef in this 9x13 pan and I spread it out to put my seasonings on. You don't want to work your ground beef too much because it will make the burgers tough. So I try to spread the seasoning as evenly as possible before mixing it. And there I'm finally dicing up my onion to mix in the meat, and then sliced more onion for topping the burgers with. And I slice some dill pickles and then some tomatoes. What are your favorite toppings to put on hamburger? We pretty much put everything on them. And the jalapenos. And so that's our toppings there. And then I grate some cheese to put on the patties once they're barbecued on the grill. I don't like those, Kraft single slices. We just prefer to grate our cheese usually and put them on our burgers. And so I shaped all the patties. I think I made 8 or 10, I'm not sure. If we have leftovers, they definitely get eaten the next day, so I don't worry if I have a little bit too much. And when my husband came home, he barbecued on our charcoal grill, and they're just so tasty with the charcoal flavor. There we have the cheese on. There's the fries. That was super simple. And there Ezra is topping his burger with all the toppings. So it's definitely all dressed. We don't put mayonnaise on it though. For me, mayonnaise is weird on your burgers. And that's the finished burger. So tonight I'm making Clean Out the Fridge chili, which is basically just using the things I have on hand to make a chili. I had ground chicken in the freezer, and I don't particularly like just eating ground chicken on its own. And so I'll be mixing it with some ground beef. So I'll brown my beef. And then for veggies, what I had left over in the fridge, I had some celery still. I have parsley, I have onions, I have some jalapenos in the freezer from our garden last year. And I had some frozen corn, so I'll be putting that in. I've got kidney beans, we have diced tomatoes, and then salt, pepper, chili powder, and some crushed chili. Oh, also have some garlic, put that in. And then for serving, I will have sour cream on the side, some shredded cheese. I'll see how these avocados are. I don't know, they were really weird. They were hard for the longest time, and now some feel like too soft. So maybe avocado, and also some tortilla chips. So I'll start by browning my meat and chopping up the veggies. Chili is one of those great meals that you can add kind of any type of vegetable to it. If you have mushrooms, if you've got zucchini, some carrot, whatever you have, you just chop it up small and it'll cook in with the meat and the beans. And the beans too, you can put whatever kind of beans you have, black beans or kidney beans, chickpeas, you name it. And you just put the seasonings in to your taste. As you can see, I don't really measure. I just add in the chili powder, salt, and pepper until I have a nice flavor. And so I've always said that cooking is kind of more of an art and baking is a science. In that baking, you have to be more specific with your measurements of ingredients, but with cooking, you just kind of put it together to your taste. And As you can see, I added another can of tomatoes because I thought it could use that. And then it was pretty watery, so I added some tomato paste. So I just kind of add things as I go until it's a consistency that I like. There's the fresh parsley. And then it was all ready to serve. I had the shredded cheese. I was able to save some avocado, have the chips and sour cream. So that's all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if you enjoy kitchen videos. And you can check out the playlist of what's for dinner of other ones that I've done. I hope to see you next time. Until then, may God bless you with his love, joy, peace, and good health. Bye.